to this year's Olympic Games, Donegal County Museum has an exhibition of beautiful and many rare Olympic posters dating all the way back to 1896, from 1896 right up to this year. They're on loan actually from a private collection, and this is the only exhibition of its kind in Ireland. Not only are they pieces of art, but a visual record of the world in a way as it was then. Because since 1912, each Olympic host city has commissioned one or more posters to celebrate the hosting of the Games. And every poster in its own way has a story to tell. And the Olympics, absolutely unique in that they bring together athletes from across the world to compete for the love of country and sport. Now, many of these posters are iconic designs, like for instance from the 1936 Berlin Games and the Tokyo Games in 1964, and also the 1980 Moscow Games. And in addition to all of that, there is the Olympic collection of Danny McDaid, a two-time Irish Olympic athlete from Glenswilly and a pioneer of athletics here in Donegal actually, and a current member of Donegal Athletics, or Letterkenny Athletics Club. And I'm delighted that Danny actually has joined me now in the studio. Danny, you're looking well anyhow.
Thank you very much. You know, when I hear my name being introduced in them high places, you know, I have to punch myself.
Well, you can't. There's no denying the fact that you were in two Olympics. You competed in two Olympics. 72 and 76.
That's right. Yeah.
What's your memory? Let's go back to the 72 one. 72 one, of course, famous for that attack on the Israeli team.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the Palestinians came in to the village, and there was 11 Israeli athletes murdered.
Yeah.
There was a couple of them murdered in the village, and then they were taken out to an airfield, outside away from the stadium.
And they tried to.
And they were held hostage there.
Yeah.
And unfortunately the guards stormed the plane, and all the hostages were killed, and a couple of the terrorists, and so.
Very sad.
They're sad, It was the games were probably the first time that the games were in jeopardy. They decided, the Olympic Council had a meeting, and they decided to have a one-day memorial in the stadium.
This was early on in the games, was it? That this happened?
Fairly early on. Well, athletics wouldn't have started at the time,
right.
Because it was probably a few days into the games. So there we were, and we thought, we're here, and we may have to go home without competing,
might not get to compete.
That's right,
and miss your chance.
Yeah,
but they went ahead.
They went ahead after they had a day memorial in the stadium, so everything was pushed back one day, and things went on as normal, But
and what about behind the scenes? What were the conditions like? I mean, back in 72. Suppose when you compare them to what we had here in the early 70s, it was everything was laid on for the athletes.
Yeah, well, the things were very good in Munich. Now the stadium was excellent, and the Germans they prepared well for it, and but it was a different life being thrown into the village. Physically, as mostly talking for myself, physically I was probably as well prepared as any other athlete there, probably psychologically or, or mentally, maybe, I wasn't up to, like there was only about 10 athletes on the Irish team that year. And, like most of the athletes would have had some experience. They were at college in the States and, were more or less full-time athletes, But here was I thrown on at the deep end,
Were you a member of a club in Dublin at the time?
Yeah, I was with Clonda Farriers at the time, yeah.
Right.
And, I was living in Dublin at the time, yeah. But
when it would come to like having a professional coach and a professional setup in order to train. I mean, you would have been miles behind those that would have been at, say, college in the States. And
Absolutely. Yeah, well, like I prepared well. I had a coach.
But you had to do a lot of it yourself.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, if you sometimes that'd be a schedule coming up to the Olympics. So
Handwritten.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Everything was handwritten by my old coach.
Right.
And if you read right down to the bottom there for.
Well, I'm just starting here Monday, and it doesn't change much through the week because it's a serious mile, 7.5 miles, before work or at lunchtime, and then anything from 10 to 15, 17 miles then with the club mates. That'll be in the evening.
Yeah.
That's serious mileage.
Yeah, if you look down to the bottom there, it's entailed.
And then Saturday and Sunday, Sunday even 22 miles on the road.
Yeah.
It says an easy pace. Well, your easy pace and mine might be two different things.
So it entailed running, down the
149
for the 9 miles a week.
Wow, yeah, that is.
And I held down a job as well at that stage.
Yeah.
So it was different times. Yeah.
So what you're saying is you got there as prepared as you possibly could be.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What's your memory then of the event itself?
The event, it went off quite normal. The conditions were sort of summer-like weather in Ireland. There was
wasn't too hot.
Not too hot. No, just normal conditions. Yeah. And we did pick up a head cold. We were out early in the mornings training. Picked up a bit of a head cold, and them times the doctor wouldn't even give me a paracetamol. And they were the times of the drug taking.
Absolutely.
When we were in the village.
It would have been going on all around you. Were you oblivious to it? Did you see it happening and do your best to ignore it? I mean, like for instance, the East Germans for a country that size, they were winning all in front of them. Was it those Olympics or the '76 Olympics that they did phenomenally well?
72. Probably 72. 76. We all, that time, if you were an athlete in the country, you were brought into the army, and you're full time, and that we've heard since about the systematic doping by the but the games have always been they've always been something controversial about them. Like in 1976, the Africans boycotted the games according to apartheid. 80, America boycotted with the Russians in Moscow. 84, then the Russians say good back at the Americans, so they boycotted Los Angeles in 84. So
it's hard to keep politics.
Of course, they jump on the bandwagon,
and
then of course you had the famous incident of the black power salute, and the two Americans on the podium, they wore a black glove and clenched fist, and
because it's such it gets such coverage around the world. I mean, that is the place to make a statement,
absolutely.
Whether you boycott the Olympics or whether you go there and make a protest or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So 72 on the track or off the track, or sort of in competition, I suppose. It rather than be known for the disaster involving the Israeli team, it should be known, I suppose, as the Mark Spitz Olympics.
Yeah. They always had their superstars. Mark Spitz was state gold medals, and Olga Corbett was it in the gymnastics, a perfect 10, and things like that over the years. You always had in '76 there was another gymnast
Nadia Comaneci, Romanian, wasn't she?
She was Romanian.
The first ever to get a perfect.
A perfect 10. Yeah. And,
I remember watching her on TV. And it was.
They were the
amazing.
highlights,
Yeah.
But
and just going back to 72 again, did you feel that you were at a disadvantage to a lot of the other athletes there, or were you just? Did you just say, listen, I'm as prepared as I possibly can be. I'm going to give this a go, and I don't care how big a star they are and how much they've won. I'm going to take them on.
Oh, that was the attitude, all right. I was, like I say, I was prepared. As prepared for anybody else, and you're lining up, and
And you're looking around you, and you're probably recognizing all
yeah,
these winners. And
the likes of Frank Charter. I competed against them in races and smaller races across Europe and that,
Yeah.
and there was, but it years ago, a long distance runner was somebody that was past their best at maybe 5,000 or 10,000, and they moved up to the marathon.
is
But
that how it was?
he was Frank Shorter. He was a sub 4 minute miler, and he was taking on the marathon and did won the marathon at the 72 Olympics, and he's a sub 4 minute miler. So we probably could have been at a slight disadvantage against them, all right, that we hadn't the pace, But they were full time athletes at that stage,
Okay.
They were on they were on big money at the, even from the shoe companies at that time. They were on big money,
And in 72, what time did you do in 72?
2:22,
Were you happy with that?
I,
Do you think you could have done
I could have done, but I should have done better. All right, yeah. But like, it's the Olympics, and like I say, probably psychologically, I wasn't as well prepared, maybe as they are nowadays. Where you have your.
But really, and other athletes probably didn't have an advantage in that respect, insofar as psychologically, like sports psychology wasn't part of the picture at that stage.
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. No.
And then in 76, your memories of the 76 event, was it better, different, worse?
Different, not the stadium wasn't as prepared as, or the Olympic Village wasn't as prepared as they were.
Montreal in 76.
And that was Montreal in 76, as Munich in 72.
Yeah.
Like 72 was excellent, but you went in there to the Olympic Village in 76, and there were still bulldozers on there, and
Right.
which wasn't, but that was
Not ideal.
I think they spent 30 years, I think, paying for, that it took them 30 years to pay
off
the debt on the. But then after that, they it become more commercial, and the soft drinks companies and that type of thing. More sponsorship and that, and from then on it was totally different. Yeah.
Now, I'm focused on the Olympics here, but I haven't even mentioned the fact that you're a 4-time national marathon champion. So they would have been big events, and you took part in 9 world championships over the course of your running career. And this all started with was it an event in Limerick, the International Cross Country Championships in '69 in Limerick, or sorry, in Madrid, I should say.
Yeah.
But you competed in Limerick famously the time that John Tracy won the World Championship.
Yeah.
You were in that event.
79. Yeah, I was captain of the team that day that we won silver medals. Like John won it, and I was 11th. Out of 250 runners, probably. And,
so the team won a silver medal that day.
The team won a silver medal. And I was talking to John there recently there, and John will always say, that it was my performance that snatched the silver medals that day. Like, I finished 31st in Glasgow the year before, which was, a good enough performance as well, But then I finished 11th, and
step up.
big. I had several Olympic medalists behind me over 5,000 and 10,000 meters, So that was good,
Were you at your best cross country or out on the road?
Probably best cross country, marathon. Yeah, my marathon was like, you didn't get to the Olympics at cross country, so the marathon. My old coach said, the marathon is the one to aim for, and these are the schedules that he gave me in 71, 72, and we must leave no stone unturned until we get to Munich, So, But then when I came back home in '74, and I did all my training under my own rules. And
When you were in the Olympics in '76, were you still with Clonliffe?
no, I was back in Letterkenny again. Yeah,
Right.
I was back working in Letterkenny, and I.
So what schedule were you following at that stage? Did
Oh,
you have to
I
come
was.
up-
What I made up myself, I was running about 120, 140 miles a week, and job in the post office at the same time. I would start work maybe at 5 o'clock, and when the rest of the boys were gone for their breakfast at 8, you'd have a break then before you do your delivery.
you
So
go out for a run?
I would go for a run, do a 4 mile run or 5 mile run, and snatch about a cup of tea and a sandwich, and I was off on me 2 hour walk. Then was a bag of meal.
So you weren't
Yeah.
you weren't wanting for exercise, anyhow.
No.
You're certainly getting your steps in.
Yeah.
And you were, given all the success, you were actually a latecomer to a relative latecomer to
Yeah,
athletics.
I didn't start competing at that level until I was 24. But having said that, I was physically active all my life.
Yeah.
I've always said that coming on, being brought up on a small farm with with my 9 siblings, you had to pull your weight, and
no choice.
then, your father was hard taskmaster. You did a day's work from your 14. You had to stand against men in the bog or whatever was being done. There was no
No slacking.
no leniency for no matter what age you were. So like I say, we were physically the present day athletes. I think they're soft. They're like you say about
Well,
you
it's
say about steps. There's a young fellow recently there. He was up on my farm, and he was doing work for my son-in-law. And he was counting. He said. He was
Watching the
really
clock.
delighted. He says, so many steps done. I said, Eamon, in my time we counted in miles.
Not steps.
Now it's down to steps.
Yeah.
So
But like competing at a high level at 24 would be for the first time would be unheard of these days.
Oh, absolutely,
They
yeah.
coach from a young age.
Oh yeah, you're mostly all in are in athletics from their 10 years of age now. Yeah. But
I want to talk about two things briefly. That exhibition, which is on down at the County
it's a
Museum.
museum. I was in yesterday and had a look around it, and it's certainly worth a visit.
Brilliant.
And of course,
Bring back some memories for you, did it?
absolutely, some of the posters that Paul Foley donated to, or gave them a lot of the posters. Paul does memorabilia. He collects memorabilia
Okay.
of all sport, like football programs, that type of thing, And as a matter of fact, there's a lot of posters that I got from Munich and Montreal, and they were lying up in the attic, So I gave them to Paul, and there's a couple
they're
of
in- they're in
there's
the
a couple of them
collection
up.
as well.
There's a couple of them up there as well. Yeah, it's really worth a visit there from 10 in the morning to 5 in the evening, sort of, But
And when you're here, just to take the opportunity to mention the Donegal Half Marathon, because I know you're an ambassador for the marathon, and it's on at the end of August, the 25th, Sunday the 25th. And again, they're expecting a big entry. It's a big event, and it's firmly established now in the calendar.
absolutely, and, we're this year we've done over the last few years we've did the iconic the Wild Atlantic Way, with the medals.
Yeah.
We have a medal there, and this is the third one, I think. Or we had the Sleeve League, and we had Malin, and we. This year we have the medals, like new medals,
All right.
which
Right,
which
right
is
next door to you.
absolutely, we have to do a big push on that, and like it's. We don't make enough of our history, probably. Like out there on the course out there, the Battle of Scariff Solis, in 1650. That's along the route, and there's a monument there to promote that. And we have the medal this year of the medal and the big medal wheel, and the medal. It's in great. The medal is mounted with that. And.
It's beautiful.
It's
the other ones
absolutely,
have been
and
beautiful.
this year as well we have a long sleeved shirt, with a zip on it and all, So we try to give people back. We haven't a very expensive. We're not out to make money. We try to give back what we can. And we also give a few thousand a year to charity. This year, we're doing the Donegal Hospice. So.
So plenty of time for people to get trained up and prepared for it. End of August for the Donegal half marathon, and you'll be at the event. You'll not be in the event, will you?
No, I won't be taking part. No, but no, we're But the other thing about the Olympics, I'm going to the Olympics.
Oh, you're going this year?
I'm going to Paris.
To Paris?
Yeah.
Right.
Myself and my wife Kathleen, and my son Dara and his wife and 2 children. And we're going there for a week. We go on for the athletics. So we're lucky enough. Tickets were very expensive when they come out at the start. They're, like the 100 meters final, for instance. I think it was around €600 for a ticket. But we got tickets from, I think the cheapest might be €175. But we have a finals day. So one of the finals is we have the women's 400 meters final. So we have the Irish girl Adeliki, hopefully she'll be in the final,
Yes,
and
if all goes well, yeah.
The women's 10,000 meters final, the men's 400 meters final. That's
big day.
That's a big day, but the tickets are hard to come by, and they're very expensive, Wow. So we're lucky, we're going, and so.
Okay, and going as a family as well will be a great.
Absolutely, we have my son booked an apartment there, quite close to the events, and we have the flights booked and paid. So we're all set to go.
Looking forward to it.
You're looking forward to.
Well, you can sit back this time and enjoy them. No pressure.
Yeah,
no pressure. Danny, a pleasure as always. And thanks for coming in. And just to remind people that exhibition, by the way, of those Olympic posters is on at the Donegal County Museum on until the end of the month, actually. And entry is free. Danny, thanks and enjoy the Olympics.
I'm looking forward to them now. But they're always, but hopefully there's no controversy.
No, I'm sure there won't be.
But we had enough of over the years, But hopefully it'll be a clean Olympics. And
absolutely, and a sporting spectacle.
Absolutely, like in Munich, there was 80,000 people in the stands and the arena that day, and another 80 million watching on television. So
I know it is huge.
And the opening ceremony is always spectacular. And it's a big thing as well for the athletes to walk on the Olympic Games, and with the behind Ireland, the tricolour, and it's a big occasion. I suppose it's something that will love you. I always say that the Olympic flame, I think it lights something in you that never goes out.
I can tell from just chatting to you the passion is still there. Great memories, great times, and enjoy this year's. Thanks a million, Danny. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on, John.
Get with the best.